Metal Jesus here, and well, I'm back with a good friend, John Hancock. How's it going, buddy?
Good seeing you.
Where are we? This is not my game room.
It's my game room.
It's your game room.
That's right. Yep, you're standing in a game room of 10,000 plus games and 24 complete collections.
Dude, it's so awesome to be back here. I love your game room. So many amazing things. It's multiple levels. And one of the things that you have in your collection, I love this, you have a complete N-GAGE collection. There are people out there who don't even know what that is.
Yeah, well, I don't blame them, because N-GAGE was essentially a failed game system and cell phone in one.
Right.
That came out in the early 2000s.
And so for this video, we are going to find out all about the N-GAGE, because I am dying to know what possesses somebody to collect N-GAGE, and we're going to find out.
That's right.
All right, let's take a look. Okay, dude, so I am dying to know what possessed you to collect for the N-GAGE.
Well, it was timing.
It was out there. It was there.
Well, yeah, so I was working at a GameStop, and I was working at a GameStop when this thing tanked.
Right.
And they had this sorry little collection of N-GAGE stuff, and it went from full price, I think it was like $30 per game.
It was like a little puppy that just wasn't getting any love.
And they started clearancing them out at $2.99 a piece. And I was like, why not?
It needs a home.
Why not?
It needs a home in the room of doom.
And so I started buying games before I had the system, just because it was $2.99 a piece. And then,
I've done that before too.
And then it dropped down to like $1.99 or something. They were just like, please, someone take these.
You know what that reminds me of is the UMDs for PSPs.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they started $30, and it's like, who's gonna buy that? Then after a couple of years, you're like, oh, it's 50 cents, and then you're kind of like holding on to it. Like, do I need this UMD movie for 50 cents? Yes, I do.
So essentially, the first model that came out is nicknamed the Taco,
and that was infamous.
Yes.
If you were gaming around that time, it was a cool concept. It was Nokia, right?
Nokia.
And so they were seriously jumping into making kind of like a cell phone / Game Boy Advance, essentially.
Absolutely.
But it had some critical design flaws, and one of them was you in order to talk, or right, is that what it was? You had to turn it like a taco or something.
Yeah. So this is the second model, but essentially, if this was a phone, you had to like turn it sideways and talk to it. It was
you look
the
dumb,
stupidest thing ever. You had to take the back off to put a game in.
Right. There wasn't a normal slot where you could easily get. You had to actually pull the cell phone apart to put your game in, which is like, again, did they test this thing at all? But now you don't have the first model, right?
No.
You tried to buy one.
I did. I've actually tried 3 different times on eBay to purchase a used one, and they're not going for a ton, but it got outbid, and I was like, well, I'm never gonna probably use this. It was mostly just buying it for this video.
Right. But you do have the second model.
Yes.
So tell me some of the things about how did the games look, and what were some of the things about it that were kind of made it stand out?
So the second model is the N-GAGE QD, and it is it's a lot better design. I would compare the graphics between a PS1 and a Game Boy Advance. Now the Game Boy Advance was really going in full speed when this thing came out.
Right.
It really was its direct competition, which, by the way, the Game Boy Advance sold it 100 to 1. So it outsold this thing, blew this out of the water.
But this, if I remember right, this could do 3D graphics. They weren't amazing, but it was definitely a step better than the Game Boy Advance, I think.
Yeah, and that's why I compared it a little bit to the PlayStation 1. I feel like some of the games, and when I play them, it reminds me of a graphics engine that would be on a PlayStation original.
Yeah, interesting. And so you have this, and that looks like it's like unopened.
It's sealed, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a sealed N-GAGE QD unit that they were clearancing out. This would be, at least at the GameStop I was at, one of the last models and last packaging variations. Now there is another packaging that they did sell, and it was this in more of a box.
Yeah.
And then it had a smaller packaging.
Oh, I see,
like this.
Okay.
And you open it up, and there's a bunch of goodies in there. There's a install CD. You can get stuff that way, and there's instructions. You know, you're just your typical stuff that you would find in a system.
Yeah, that's cool.
Don't forget.
But now you also have something here kind of interesting, and that is like, what is this? It's a demo unit, right?
Yeah, it's a dual N-GAGE kiosk, like a wall mount. And so the story behind that was I was working at a particular store, and they were told to field destroy all their stuff, and so this was placed in the garbage, and I was told I could have it. That's the short answer.
Well, and you know, I mean, I know that's not unusual that, that a lot of these they have like agreements to destroy this stuff, but I love the fact that it landed here. It works. You have two N-GAGEs connected to it that are, you can literally, if you wanted to, set it up somewhere and just walk up and play these games. It's awesome. It's
set up to essentially do multiplayer right there. A lot of the multiplayer had a Bluetooth feature, so that you could do multiplayer using a Bluetooth function. So some of the games that had that, I have the ability to do so.
Now, in addition to the hardware, you also have a complete collection, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at those.
Okay.
To start off with, I'm kind of curious how many games were released on N-GAGE?
Well, on physical cartridge 58, 56 were released in North America. And so I have, when I say I have a complete set, I have all 56 of the ones released here. I have one of the overseas ones. I'm missing the UK exclusive.
Okay.
So
cool. All right, well, let's take a look at some games here.
All right. So when N-GAGE came out, it had a simple gray clamshell packaging. It looked like maybe like a third of a DVD case. And when you open it up, you had the typical color instruction manual, but they give you a smaller case, so that I think it was so that you could put your small game into this and slip it in your pocket.
Okay.
For portable.
That's pretty nice packaging, actually. I mean, it seems like it's really sturdy. It's quality,
Yeah, and I think they really tried to make, at least packaging wise and the game stand out. And so this is Tony Hawk, and Tony Hawk, it plays like your standard,
PlayStation 1 style Tony Hawk. Yeah, which I love those games. So
pretty solid. A lot of people on the game forums, they like the N-GAGE version.
I can see that. Cool.
So this is actually the game that got the ball rolling.
Right.
And so this is Pathway to Glory was a fun, very deep kind of an overhead like strategy like game. Military, lots of gun options and stuff, and it got people very interested. So it's not a first-person shooter.
Okay, that's what I thought. It sounds like a Call of Duty style thing.
But it was very popular, and actually was the first game to kind of get the ball rolling on everything else. So
here's a game that I played when I got my PlayStation 2, right? Which was Red Faction.
Yeah, and it was the first-person shooter on the system, and it's pretty solid. Yeah. Again, the N-GAGE had PlayStation 1-ish graphics, and so I think the other challenge too is that the way the screen was positioned.
Because it's portrait, right, instead of landscape, which is interesting.
The reason why I think they did that is because they could port games to cell phones, which at the time were flipped.
Well, and you typically on cell phones, well, I guess that really depends. No, actually, like
on the flip phones, it would just be elongated.
Okay.
So
I know it's been so long.
I know it's like we got so spoiled now where we can do either or.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Here's a game I have not heard of.
Yeah, Ashen is I do believe an exclusive for the N-GAGE. With my dual kiosk that I got, I had a demo game in it, showcasing it, and it's a fun first-person shooter.
Oh, it is. Wow, it's cool. Huh.
Yeah.
All right, I'm kind of tempted to collect for the N-GAGE.
I think you'd like it. So this is a long-standing series now, but this Asphalt was one of the first car games for the system, and
it also on mobile. This is one of this series is huge.
Yeah.
I played a ton of these on I think my first iPhone, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and the first two were on N-GAGE. Asphalt 2 came way later at the end of the series, the system's life.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. This is
Elder Scrolls.
That's right.
I know. It's so funny because I'm kind of going for a complete Elder Scrolls collection, and you can't complete that without this.
Yeah, and it's for Elder Scrolls, it's okay.
Right.
But for an N-GAGE like portable, it was at the time amazing. Like, oh my gosh, they fit like a full Elder Scrolls game on a tiny cell phone.
That's amazing.
At the time, I mean, now it's like, oh, we have some other games that are a little bit better.
Sure.
But this is at the time was revolutionary.
And it seems like this is hard to find in the wild, for sure.
Yeah, it's popular. The series is popular.
Yeah.
This didn't sell well. It came out and everybody's like,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now people like me are looking for it.
Yeah, of course. So, this is actually one of the biggest hits on the system, and it's Pocket Kingdom, Own the World, and it was, you control individuals and armies, and it was a lot very tactics style fantasy strategy game.
Oh, that's cool.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and here's another game I've heard of.
Yeah. Worms.
Worms.
And Worms actually translated well on the system. And,
I bet.
It's something you don't really mess up.
Yeah.
And Worms is fun, and
yeah.
I think it fit the mobile and Bluetooth multiplayer very well. And yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
This is another game that I love. So the X-Men Legends series. So how does it play on the N-GAGE?
Yeah, it plays okay.
Yeah.
I would prefer the console versions better, but
Sure.
I think they did a good job. And again, it sold decently. They did do two of these on the N-GAGE.
Oh, really?
X-Men and X-Men Legends 2.
Okay.
So definitely, again, I prefer the console ones.
Yeah. Okay, and that actually looks like it has decent graphics.
Yeah.
60 levels.
Yeah.
That's
It's big.
cool.
For a cell phone game at the time, again, what people forget is, we get so comfortable now with our iPhones and Android phones having such amazing games, but really the N-GAGE was the pioneer that really showcased that you could do a full game on a cell phone and it'd be, decent.
Yeah.
All right, so this is one of the exclusives that the United States didn't get.
Okay.
And I do believe it was sold in Australia. And it's Sega Rally Championship. And so I bought this on eBay many years ago, and it's one of the two exclusives that were on cartridge form, not released here.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is that hard to find today?
I think you can find it, but it's not like some of the other ones where they're still cheap. This one's going to cost you a bit.
Okay.
And I don't know specifically how much, but it's not cheap.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you got it a while ago, right?
Yes, correct.
Civilization. I love the series.
So this is interesting for multiple reasons. It was the last game released for the system.
Oh, it was. Okay.
And so what you're noticing, and maybe you can't see in the camera,
yeah.
is it's a Gold Master Review Kit, not for sale. Now I have 6 of these, and what's cool about them is
not of this game, but just different games. Different press kits.
Different press kits, and in a press kit. Your instruction manual is a little bit different. Now it has usually text writing, and it says not for sale.
Yeah.
And it'll usually have a version number on your card.
Probably for tracking. So
Yes.
if it does end up somewhere, they can track it back to the press that let it out.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. And then what's cool about this is they give you a media disc with still shots and stuff that you can do. Because they want you to write a good review for it.
Yeah, I used to get these when I used to do reviews, and it's funny. Yeah, it would come with your gameplay footage and all the stuff to make it easy to do the reviews. Which actually I appreciated. It was, back in the day, it was nice to have that press kit. So
and the sad truth is until it was too late, that really the N-GAGE at the very end made some amazing RPGs and strategy games, and it was too late. It had already kind of torpedoed itself with the terrible design of the first one. The QD was actually a decent phone and game system, and a bunch of the awesome games came at the tail end of it, which, by the way, are really hard to find now.
So is it difficult to play the N-GAGE today? I mean, is the battery still work?
So there's a couple things to consider. One is you needed a SIM card to essentially unlock or have the phone unlocked before you can play a game. Now, there's a lot of demonstration units that are still sold, and you just have to make sure to ask, and usually in the description it'll say can play the games, because really that's all you really need to play.
Right.
But you need a used SIM card to unlock full abilities of the N-GAGE.
I would have never even thought of that, but yeah, it makes sense, right? They would assume, right, that you'd have like a cell contract.
Yeah, and so on a lot of the demonstration units, you don't need that to play the games, which is nice.
That is really nice. Well, dude, thank you very much for showing me your awesome N-GAGE collection. I've been dying to do this because, again, it's like, I don't know anything about it. It's like, it's so interesting. So I love, like you, I love collections like that of the kind of obscure and, you know, the sort of like, it reminds me of Virtual Boy. You know what I mean? A very similar kind of mentality for collecting for it. Which
very much so.
I'm a big fan of. All right, dude, so where can people find you on the internet?
Well, I actually have my own channel.
Yes, he does.
And so if you just type in John Hancock and, you know, John Hancock Retro or the Immortal John Hancock, or, you can find me.
And a lot of the stuff in this game room you cover on your channel, which is very cool. So if you want to dig deep into someone who has over 10,000 games, definitely check out his channel. All right, thanks, man, for doing this.
Thank you.
As always, I want to thank you guys for watching my channel. Thank you for subscribing, and take care. If you like this video, then you are in luck because John and I have done a bunch of videos in his game room over the last couple years. Such a cool guy to open up his room of doom and let me film in there. We've covered everything from, geez, the Atari to the Neo Geo to his amazing Sega collection. So you're definitely going to want to be subscribed to my channel because I release new videos every Tuesday and Friday.